I'm going to use the READ, R-E-A-D technique as outlined in the book Web Literacy for Educators by Alan November. I think this is a really simple way of reviewing a website and an easy acronym to remember for students. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and start with the URL at the top of the page. So I look at this URL and it's a .com site. And one thing stands out to me is that it has the 2008 in the URL as well. So using a technique described by both David Warlick in the resources this week and outlined in the book by Alan November, I'm going to go ahead and delete until I get to the parent site here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit enter and see what happens. And as you can see, this takes me right back to my original site. And so my observation here is that the parent site is the same as the site link with the 2008 behind it. So there's no real benefit from navigating backwards and trying to find that parent site, because the parent site must not exist here. So that's my R, where I read the URL and read and look at the URL and see if I can make any sense of that. So that really didn't give me much information. So I am going to go ahead and move on to the E, where we need to examine the content of the site. And so I'm just going to click around in here a little bit and see what I find, and be kind of critical about the information that I find. And as you can see, this flash animation that appears on our screen here talks about creating your own genes for your offspring. There's one about the male pregnancy. Down here you can see there's a video that says when men are pregnant. Kind of seems a little fishy to me, just based on my common everyday knowledge. So I'm going to click on this About Us tab, and you can see here that I'm clicking on the tab, and it's going to take me to some information here. So I'm just going to look down through here, and looks like there's a personal journal here by Dr. Phineas Liu within the biotech world. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And as I click, I'm going to continue to watch my URL, and I'm still within the ryhospital.com domain. So I know I haven't left this created site. And so I'm going to scroll down here, kind of browse through this. And it's talking about the gay pornography video here, and so I noticed there are 550 comments. So I'm going to click on the comments here and see what these comments say. And as I look down here, you know, these comments were posted in 2006. It's now 2011. Many of these comments are probably very inappropriate for a hospital web page, as you can see here. And so it shows me that there may be very little or no moderation on these comments, and it basically, to me, it looks like some spam has found its way into the site. So obviously I'm not going to click on any of these links, but it's raising suspicion thus far, for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my back button a couple times, come back to the web page, and I'm going to click on patient care. And I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see that it gives us a little indicator here that this little symbol means that this takes us to an external website. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on head transplantation, and notice that this refers to an April 2001 article from the BBC, British Broadcasting Company, and I can tell that by the URL up here. So it has indeed linked us to an outside page, and I'm just going to go ahead and close that. So it looks like most of the links are valid. One thing that kind of interests me are these links that are within the site. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the prenatal gene therapy site here. And it says thank you for considering. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the QuickTime player here and see what this does. I'm going to maximize my site.
My husband has gotten everything pregnant. We tried it all.
And it shows a little video of a couple here talking about how this GenoChoice has helped them. I'm going to go ahead and hit the continue button here. And I'm going to push on this blue button. It says before the best of nature before you nurture. So this takes me to a website where I can choose what I would like to do with my DNA scan. So I can create a clone of myself. I can create a, since I'm male, I can create a female embryo or a male embryo if I scan my partner. And here I can create a female male embryo. I have your partner and a male donor ready to scan, so you need 2 people to scan here. And this is a create a male embryo. One man's DNA will be used to create a nucleus transfer egg cell. The other will fertilize the cell, have your partner ready to scan. So I'm just going to say, well, I'd rather clone myself here, I think. And so it takes me to a spot that tells me to actually put my thumb up against the
on the oval button, and be sure to keep it there until we are done scanning.
So it's actually scanning my thumb now. I have my thumb up against the green button here. Actually, I don't, but it seems to be working just fine without my thumb there. So it's scanning my DNA supposedly, and then it asks me to type in my full name, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to view my DNA profile here, and so you can see that these are my defects from my DNA scan. So I'm novelty seeking, I have ADD, I'm 20% anxiety, addiction, bipolar, stamina impairment, glottal stop, whatever that is. And so I can choose the upgrade button here. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade, and it gives me a price to repair all of my genetic defects. So obviously I'm going to upgrade all of my genetic defects here.
We are currently running a special this week,
and we'll see how much this is going to cost me. Of course, I don't want my offspring to have any diseases, so I'm going to upgrade all of those as well.
And then select the next button.
Since I'm cloning myself, I want a boy, and we're going to do brown hair with hazel eyes. It should know that from my DNA, I suppose. And if it's a clone of myself, we should be in that range there. And of course I want to increase a couple of these things. Athletic talent, sure. Athletic talent by all means. And let's print out my invoice. So to create the offspring of my desire here, it would only cost me a total of $141,515.
Well, according to our records in the National DNA Database,
your insurance, it says will cover all of this procedure. Click here to make your baby. So I'm going to make my baby, and we'll see what happens.
Congratulations.
Excellent. So, and it says to receive updates and images of your fetus, please enter. Well, I'm a little skeptical of this site, so I'm not going to put any personal information in here. So I'm going to go back to the home page here using my back button. So this was our patient care tab, and I'm going to click on the research tab. You can see that there are no active research links in this list here, so it's not much help to me. So I'm going to go back to the main page, and we're going to click on medical education. So you can see that these medical education pages all lead to the outside of this domain. It shows me that because of that little symbol there next to it. So I'm just going to see if some of these are active links here. So PubMed.gov. Excellent. So I'm going to actually do a right click on the page, and I'm going to view page info. So this tells me that PubMed, National Center for Biotechnology Information, United States, So this looks like a valid site, and I can come up here and I can look at my URL on this site, that this is ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. So this looks like a pretty valid website. However, if we look at the top of our URL up here, we notice that we are outside of the RY Hospital domain. So I'm going to go ahead and close that tab, go back to my RY Hospital, and I'm going to click on the last Contact Us tab here. And so I get a nice little form that asks me to name an email subject with a message. What's interesting here is that it provides no local contact information, such as an address or a phone number or anything like that. So I'm a little skeptical of the contents of this. I should say a little bit more than a little skeptical. For a hospital not to have any local contact information is a little bizarre to me. So I'm going to go back to the home page here, and I'm going to use the same technique I did on the government site. I'm going to right click and view page info, and notice here that I don't have much information, and it says this website does not supply ownership information. So that really concerns me. And notice this is one of my main pieces of information here, is that the last modification took place July 19th, 2008. And so for a hospital to leave that information go unchecked for approximately 3 years is probably an indicator that this site contains information that's not very valid. And so you can see it does not, verified, not verified. And so that that raises my heights of suspicion as well. One last thing, Alan November talked about Easy Whois. I use just the Whois lookup domain name. So I've typed in the www.ryhospital.com, and I look up the registration information here. And so it gives us some information here on this page. It gives us a P.O. Box 2080, New York, New York 10009. Elizabeth Preetner, MD, is the registrant contact. However, there's no phone number or fax number. Down here, administrative contact, RY Hospital. If I was doing this with students, I would actually allow them to call this phone number to check validation and source of this information. So down here you can see that there's a domain, probably a domain library that's hosting this information for them here out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So it does give us a little information, and again, I would use this phone number, and let's see if I can do a lookup here. I'm just going to do a quick Google search for this phone number. It does come back to RYT Hospital, Medical Center, P.O. Box, U.S. Technical Contact, Gate Domain. So again, the Google search doesn't do me much good, but I would again allow my students or whoever was trying to validate this site to call that number, and I have not called that number. The last thing that I would probably do to validate is I just do a plain old Google lookup, a search, and you can see when I start typing in this this query into Google that it comes up with the second one down here. You can see is Duane Medical Center hoax, and so it talks about how to detect hoax websites, evaluating internet resources, and if you kind of go through some of these, it actually proves that this website is a site set up for this purpose exactly. It's created by a couple of professional development providers to demonstrate how to review and validate web information. And so this was a very, very well set up site for this exercise.